Hello, and welcome to session 4 of the Refresh Online Fatigue Management Program. Today, today we embark on a transformative journey to understand the intricate relationship between your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and energy levels. The cognitive behavioral model, our guiding framework, will illuminate how these elements intertwine and impact your fatigue experience. Stress is a normal part of everyday life, a natural reaction when we perceive that demands on our bodies, minds, and emotions outweigh our ability to cope with them. This can include real events as well as imagined ones, such as scary films, and can also include our thoughts and memories. Stress can be caused by both pleasant and unpleasant demands and changes. It is an example of how the mind can affect the body by producing a physical reaction to an interpretation of a situation. The stress response is a human survival mechanism known as the fight or flight response. We all know this response quite well. Our heart beats faster, our blood pressure shoots up, and our breathing quickens as adrenaline races through our system and our body prepares to either attack or flee. The diagram below gives some examples of how our body might prepare to either fight or flee and the physical effects. Blood vessels open wider to let more blood flow to large muscle groups, putting our muscles on alert. The pupils in our eyes expand to improve vision. The liver releases some of its stored glucose to increase the body's energy. Sweat is produced to cool the body. All of these physical changes prepares a person to react quickly by either fighting or fleeing. Our stress responses are an evolutionary response to life-threatening events. For example, meeting a grizzly bear. However, in our modern society, we are more likely to get stuck in a traffic jam or have a difference of opinion with our boss than cross path with a grizzly bear. Road rage or running away from the workplace are not acceptable, even though our body automatically prepares us to fight or flee. Although some stress is necessary to motivate us, long-term stress can have negative effects on our energy levels, immune functioning, and mental and physical well-being. Stress can affect our minds, emotions, and behavior. Below are some examples of mental and cognitive. Being on edge or fidgety, overwhelmed or bored. You might have nightmares, distracted, difficulty concentrating, or indecisiveness. You might have difficulty planning, loss of memory, low self esteem, and frustration. As for physical, you might experience fatigue, headaches, indigestion, nausea, or muscle tension, palpitation, sweating, dizziness, faintness, or diarrhea. As for emotional, you might feel irritable or angry, down in the dumps, swings in mood. You might experience anxious, emotionally numb, or oversensitive. Finally, drained. As for behavioral, you might experience inability to sleep, doing too much or too little, smoking or drinking alcohol, eating less or eating more. Finally, avoiding family or friends and loss of interest in sex. Some of the most common signs of stress, such as fatigue and muscle tightness. It comes as no surprise that stress can be caused by negative life events, such as relationship difficulties, job uncertainty or loss, financial difficulties, and so on. However, it can also be brought about by pleasant demands, a job promotion, a holiday, the arrival of a new baby, or planning a wedding can also leave us feeling stressed out and fatigued. We can think of our life in terms of a seesaw. When resources in our life outweigh demands, this could lead to boredom. However, when demands outweigh resources, this can lead to stress. For healthy living, ideally, we want to aim for a balance between demands and our resources to deal with those demands. Avoid the stressor, but this is not always possible. You can reframe the situation. Remember that whatever happens around you, you can be in control of your thoughts and responses to that situation. You can seek support from others. Family and friends can be helpful if they can put themselves in your shoes and understand what impact fatigue has on you and your day to day life. You can also use relaxation techniques, such as the breathing technique we have learned earlier. You can take regular exercises. You can write about it. It can be helpful to write down what's on your mind. Writing down your thoughts and feelings in relation to a stressful situation can help you to process them by fully exploring and releasing the emotions involved. It can also help you to problem solve and come up with solutions. You can use pen and paper or a computer or a dictaphone if you prefer. You can also take time for yourself. Make sure you do things you enjoy without feeling guilty. Doing things you enjoy can be energizing and restorative. You can adjust your expectations. Are your expectations unrealistically high? Try not to expect too much of yourself or others. Nobody's perfect. Learn to say no. Trying to please everyone and taking on more than you can handle can cause stress. By recognizing your own limits and saying no firmly, well in advance, and with clear reasoning, you can avoid upsetting others while remaining true to your needs. Often, saying yes to one request effectively means you are having to say no to other responsibilities and commitments, or that you end up being overcommitted. Focus on what you are managing and achieving. Set realistic goals. Also, don't forget to give yourself a frequent pat on the back for the things you do achieve, no matter how small they may seem. Prioritize your time. Do what is most important first and realize that some things can wait until later. Lead a healthy lifestyle. Good quality sleep, eating nutritiously, and exercise all help combat stress and fatigue. Remember, we recommend aiming for at least 3 sessions of 30 minutes of exercise every week to keep you as fit and healthy as possible. Plan ahead. Prepare for situations that you know could cause stress. Laughter is a great stress reliever. In fact, we often laugh the hardest when we have been feeling most tense. Laughter triggers feel good hormones and boosts the immune system. So have a bit of fun today. Seek professional support and advice if you are finding it difficult to cope. You could ask your GP, or there is information on support services on the Refresh webpage. This could be Parkinson's specific help from Parkinson's UK or more general mental well-being assistance, for example, from Mind. Let's reflect on a profound insight from Epictetus, a Roman philosopher. He wisely stated, "People are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of things." This ancient wisdom holds a timeless truth. It prompts us to consider the power of perspective in shaping our experiences. Often, it is not external circumstances themselves, but the way we perceive and interpret them that influences our emotional state. As we navigate challenges and various aspects of our lives, let's keep in mind the profound impact our perspectives can have on our well being. By cultivating a mindful and constructive view of our experiences, we can foster resilience and maintain a sense of balance. The philosophical insight encourages us to explore the narratives we construct around events, and in doing so, gain a deeper understanding of our emotional responses. As we continue our journey, let's be mindful of the perspectives we choose, recognizing the influence they have on our overall sense of peace and contentment. Now, let's delve into a fascinating concept that unveils the intricate interplay of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. To illustrate this, let's consider a common scenario. Your friend is running half an hour late for dinner. What's intriguing is how this same event can trigger different thoughts, leading to a variety of emotions and subsequent actions. Let's go through a few examples. For example 1, you might be thinking that she might have been hurt on the way here, so you might feel worried or anxious. So you start making phone calls to check on her. Example 2, you might think she didn't even bother to let me know she was delayed, so you might feel annoyed or angry. You can be a bit moody when she shows up. For example 3, you might be thinking it doesn't matter to me whether people are on time. You might feel indifferent. As for action, nothing in particular. For example 4, you might be thinking, that's handy. It gives me a chance to put my feet up with a glass of wine. You might feel relieved. The action is, you will be relaxed and enjoying yourself. In each instance, notice how our thoughts shape our emotional responses and, in turn, influence our behaviors. This example underscores the dynamic relationship between our interpretations and the way we navigate our experiences. As we progress, keep in mind the power of self awareness in understanding and managing these connections between thoughts, emotions, and actions. In today's session, we delve into a powerful tool that sheds light on the intricate relationship between your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and energy levels. The cognitive behavioral model. This model provides us with a comprehensive framework to explore how these aspects of your experience are interconnected and influence one another in the context of fatigue and well being. To aid your understanding, here is an illustration of the cognitive behavioral model. This cognitive behavioral model illustration shows the flow of influence from thoughts to emotions, from emotions to behaviors, and from behaviors to energy levels. Cognitive refers to the mind, and behavioral refers to the body. The model shows how thoughts, emotions, behavior, and physical responses are all linked and continuously interacting with each other. Changes in any one of these will influence the other elements. Overarching the model is your own situation, environment. Each of us lives within our own unique environment, and this also affects the way we feel and behave. The environment includes where we live, who we live with, what has happened in our past, and what is happening in our lives at the moment. Imagine your thoughts as the lens through which you perceive the world around you. These thoughts trigger emotional responses that, in turn, influence your behaviors. What's fascinating is that this cycle is not linear, it's a dynamic, ongoing process. Your thoughts act as seeds that have the potential to grow into emotions and actions. For example, if you consistently think that tasks are too demanding due to your condition, you might start feeling overwhelmed even before attempting them. Olympic athletes spend time imagining a perfect perform before a race, as this is more likely to lead to a gold medal performance in reality. Consider thinking how you will succeed and see how that changes your performance. Emotions are the catalysts that amplify the impact of thoughts. If your thoughts lean toward negativity or self doubt, the corresponding emotions can magnify those feelings, further influencing your perception of your abilities and energy levels. Emotions, in turn, drive your behaviors. If you are feeling fatigued and defeated due to negative thoughts, you might avoid activities altogether, leading to decreased physical and mental engagement. This avoidance reinforces the belief that you lack the energy to participate. Energy, the essence of your physical and mental vitality, is influenced by this intricate web of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Positive thoughts and emotions can uplift your energy, whereas negative patterns can drain it, leaving you fatigued. Understanding how your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are interconnected empowers you to make positive changes. By recognizing unhelpful thoughts, challenging them, and replacing them with more balanced perspectives, you can improve your emotional well being and energy levels. We are now going to work through an example relating to a hypothetical person called John. We will brainstorm about what sorts of thoughts, behaviors, emotions, and physical reactions John might be experiencing when he notices the grass needs cutting and goes ahead and mows the lawn. As for thoughts, if I don't mow the lawn, I'm useless. Then he mows the lawn, flat out for the next couple of days, but he snaps at his wife. He might feel guilty, low mood, irritability, shame, and frustration. For physical, he might feel tense, exhausting, and aching. Next, we fill this on a cognitive behavioral component worksheet as shown below. Let's examine a scenario that many of us can relate to, encapsulated in John's negative thought cycle. His internal dialogue revolves around a detrimental belief, and let's break it down step by step. The negative thought is, if I don't finish this task, I'm useless. Now, let's unravel how this negative thought cycle plays out for John. First, we have the overdoing it stage, fueled by this belief that not completing the task renders him useless. John tends to go all in, pushing himself beyond his limits to get the job done. This naturally leads to the next phase, exhaustion. The consequence of his overexertion catches up with him, resulting in both physical and mental exhaustion. As a result, John finds himself in a position where he needs to take an extended rest. The toll on his body demands a more extended period of recovery. Now, this extended rest gives rise to physical symptoms, aching and stiffness. John starts feeling this strain in his body, which adds another layer of discomfort. And finally, we reach to the stage of feelings of frustration and inadequacy. Unable to complete the task and grappling with the physical toll, John experiences a surge of emotions, including frustration and a deep sense of inadequacy. So you see, it's a cycle that perpetuates itself, each stage influencing the next. Recognizing these stages is essential for breaking free from this negative loop and finding more sustainable and positive approaches to our challenges. But what sorts of thoughts and emotions do you have in relation to your fatigue? Let's walk through the process of completing a thought diary, a helpful tool for understanding the interplay between situations, thoughts, and emotions. It involves three key components: the situation, unhelpful thoughts, and emotions. For the situation, think about where you are. Are you at home, work, or elsewhere? Consider what you are doing. What specific activities or tasks are you engaged in? Note the time of day. Is it morning, afternoon, or evening? Reflect on your company. Are you alone or are there others around? Recall what has happened. Identify any events or incidents that stand out. For the unhelpful thoughts, examine what is going through your mind. Identify the thoughts that are dominating your thinking. If more than one thought occurs, underline the most powerful one. Focus on the thought that carries the most emotional weight. As for the emotions, explore your feelings. Are you experiencing low or sad emotions? Consider guilt. Do you feel a sense of guilt? Reflect on anxiety. Are you worried, tense, or anxious? Check for anger. Is there a sense of anger within you? Note irritability. Do you feel irritable? Consider shame. Is there a sense of shame? Underline the most powerful emotion. Identify the emotion that is most prominent and impactful in the given situation. By systematically going through these components, you will gain valuable insights into the patterns of your thoughts and emotions. The self awareness is a crucial step toward developing healthier thought patterns and managing your emotions effectively. Some emotions, such as anger, guilt, depression, or grief, can be extremely draining of mental and physical energy. This week's homework focuses on identifying some of the emotions you are experiencing related to fatigue, what triggers them, and what thoughts they lead to. Let's go through a thought diary example to see how our thoughts and feelings are connected in different situations. For the first situation, when I took a break in the afternoon, the thought that popped into my head was that I'm being lazy, and it made me feel guilty. For the second scenario, another time I made a mistake while feeling tired, and the thought was that I'm a liability, which made me feel sad. For the third situation, one morning, waking up exhausted made me think, oh no, this must mean I'm getting worse, and it gave me anxiety. For the fourth situation, when my partner said, is that all you have done all day? I thought I'm not contributing my fair share and letting the family down. This made me feel angry and hurt, with an underlying feeling of guilt. By understanding these connections, we can work on challenging unhelpful thoughts and finding more positive ways to approach situations. Just as you kept an activity diary, this session's homework is to keep a thought diary, similar to the example for John Overleaf. Instructions for the homework. First, when you have a period of intense emotion related to fatigue, write a bit about the situation that triggered it in the first column. In the second column, write down the thoughts or images that accompanied it. In the third column, write down the emotions you felt. Emotions can usually be described in a single word. Write down at least 2 or 3 examples. If you like, you can keep the diary for the entire week. You might start to notice patterns in your thoughts. Remember, stress management is pivotal for fatigue management. As you understand the impact of stress and delve into the cognitive behavioral model, you are taking substantial strides toward energy preservation. We are here to guide you every step of the way. If you have any questions or reflections, don't hesitate to reach out. Get ready to conquer the next phase of our program with confidence. Thank you.